lambat untuk calculate. So now they have the few method. Method yang pertama is through the table and the calculation. Kalau dalam exam sebelum ni, dalam exam, kalau saya buat soalan untuk calculate the standard deviation, so saya prefer table yang saya tunjuk dekat kamu sekarang ni. So because this one I akan bagi full mark lah. Okay. Those yang tak show table, dia terus guna formula ni. So mungkin dia punya markah dia kurang. First sekali kita kena ada data kita. So data kita key in our data, that means X is our data. So data is 4, 5, 5, 6 and 5. So after that we get the mean. So mean kita cuba tanya Ainur Zuhaidah. Ainur Zuhaidah ada?
Saya.
Okey, Ainur Zuhaidah, macam mana kita dapat nilai mean? 5 ni macam mana kita dapat?
Tambah semua bahagi 5.
Okey, tahu So kita add all the data, divide by 5, so we get the mean X. Thank you, Zuhaidah. Now the third column, they mean X minus mean X. They mean 4 minus 5, we get minus 1. Okay. Then second column we get 0. So kita cuba tanya Nur Alia Natasha.
Ya, doktor.
Macam mana kita dapat 0 sini?
Sebab data tolak mean.
Okay, data kita 5, 5 minus 5. So kita dapat 0. Okay, thank you, Alia. So the third column also 5 minus 5 equal to 0. The fourth column 6 minus 5, we get 1. And last one 5 minus 5, you get 0. The second column is the X minus mean X power by 2. So because we want to fulfill this formula. Okay, here, why we get 1? Cuba kita tanya Nurul Ain.
Ya.
Okay, Nurul Ain, macam mana kita dapat 1 di sini?
What?
Macam mana kita dapat nilai 1 di situ? Boleh? Macam mana kita dapat?
102.
Minus 1 Patutnya minus 1 power by 2 kita dapat 1.
Ya.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
So after we develop this table, then kita dapati sum of X minus mean X power by 2 equal to what? Equal to berapa? So kita tanya Nur Izzati. Okay, Nur Izzati, ada kalkulator?
Ada.
Okay, campur semua ni dapat berapa?
Yang mana?
Ini last kali, kolom yang last kali.
2.
Okay, sekarang 2 minus divide by 4 square root. Berapa jawapan dapat?
2 je. 0.7071.
That's why standard deviation kita dapat 0.707. Cuba kita try another exercise. So kita guna kolom yang sama. Okay. Cuma data kita tukar. Data ni kita tukar. Saya pakai hentam dulu. Okey, daripada data ni cuba dapatkan standard deviation. So saya jawapan dia 2.302. Betul tak? Okey, cuba kita tanya UI meeting.
Yes, sir.
Berapa calculation value for mean?
Mean
Ah,
6.6.
okay, mean we get 6.6. Ada dapat value lain pada 6.16? 6.6? So now we go for third column, x minus mean x. So sini dapat berapa value? UI?
0.4.
So sini you get 0.4. Okay. The next column,
2.4.
2.4. Okay, third column,
Minus 3.6.
at minus 3.6. Fourth column,
Minus 0.6.
the last one,
1.4.
now we go for the the fourth row. Thank you, Min. Thank you, Oi. So we are
Okay, sir.
asking Siti Nurul Fasiha.
Yes, sir.
Okay, dekat kolom pertama untuk x minus x bar power by 2 ni dapat berapa? Ada kalkulator tak?
Ada
Okay, 0.4 power by 2 dapat berapa?
0.4
Ah,
or 0.2.
power by 2.
0.16.
Okay, good. 0.6. Then second column?
5.76.
Okay, third column?
Negative.
Dia
1,
tak boleh
2.
negatif ha. Dia tak boleh
Boleh.
negatif, dia kena positif. Sebab minus 2 kuasa 2 dia akan positif. Cuba guna kalkulator, buat kurungan negatif 3.6 tutup kurungan power by 2.
Okay. Take to the over 2. 12.96.
Okay, the fourth column?
0.36.
The last one?
1.96.
Okay, now terus kita dah dapat standard deviation value. So berapa value dia kita tanya Nurul Najwa. Nurul Najwa ada? So kita tanya T Fang Yi.
You.
Okay, T Fang Yi, how we get standard deviation? So kita campur ni dulu semua ha. We add all together is 1. You get what value? 0.16 plus 7.78.
21.12.
Okay, then divide by
4.
4 square root. That value you get what?
2.302.
This one 2.302. Boleh Ada persoalan? Cuba kita tanya Ahmad Nasharuddin. Thank you, T. Okay, Ahmad Nasharuddin. Dengar suara saya, Ahmad Nasharuddin? Muhammad Arif?
Ya,
Macam mana boleh faham ke?
faham.
Okay.
Okey.
Second method kita boleh guna calculator. Calculator. Semua ada calculator tak? Okay. Dekat calculator itu you tekan mode. Mode tu belah atas belah kanan sekali You tekan mode, you akan nampak SD. Dia akan tulis SD. Wow, very difficult. Oh, so very difficult. Okay, in your calculator, they have the down the SD. So you choose SD. Okay, selepas you choose SD, dia type number 1. You type number 1. Now you key in the data. So the key in the data. So we key in the data. That means you key in 7. You tulis 7. After 7, you key in the M plus. Then you key in again data 9. M plus. 3. M plus. 6. M plus. 8. M plus. You mean you already key in the data is about 5 data. Now you want to find out through calculator the standard deviation. You push the shift. Shift button plus number 2. So at number 2 they write down the S variant. Dekat you punya calculator number 2 atas tu dia tulis S variant. So you and then you push number 3. Number 3 button number 3. After that you push button equal. So you get the answer.
Tak dapat.
2.3021.
Dapat cantik hero.
Okay. Selepas you push the answer button, you get 2.3021. This one is standard deviation. Tapi you don't worry you boleh tengok juga dekat Google. ataupun dekat YouTube so dia ada some classes for untuk how to calculate the standard deviation. Okay. Okay, Nur Hafizah kata dapat. So Nur Alia Nabila kata dapat. Siapa yang belum dapat? Okay, Nur Ain Syafika tak dapat, Nur Hazirah pun tak dapat. Kena refer dekat ni YouTube. Cari dekat YouTube. Cuma saya nak confirm attendance sekejap. Nur Sufi Najwa ada?
Ada sir. Sir?
Nurul Huda Hanani? Nurul Huda Hanani? Maisarah Alwani? Venus Varan?
Saya, sir.
Maisarah ada. Nur Ain Syafiqah?
Ada, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Sihat hari ni?
Sihat-sihat.
Okay. Nurul Huda Hanani ada? Nurul Huda?
Ada sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. We go for new topic hari ni. So new topic hari ni adalah one sample test hypothesis. Okay. Cuba kita nak tanya, tadi last saya tanya siapa? Tadi last kali saya tanya siapa? Saya tanya Muhammad Arif kan tadi? Last kali.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we asking Wong Kong Wei. Wong,
Ada, doktor.
okay, you biasa dengar perkataan hypothesis? Biasa dengar?
Dengar.
So kita boleh share what is hypothesis?
Hypothesis.
What is hypothesis?
Okay, apa?
Tak apa, don't worry. Sekejap lagi kita belajar. Thank you, Wong.
Okay.
Okay, dalam this topic, we will learn what is hypothesis, what is definition of hypothesis. Then hypothesis, they have 5 steps. Okay, they have 5 steps. We learn what is 5 step. 5-step hypothesis. So 5-step hypothesis is general procedure. They mean testing procedure. So we learn what is step number 1, 2, and until 5. Then also, we will learn about the type 1 and type 2 error. Type 1 or type 2 error. Other one they call alpha and beta. This one, the symbol they call alpha or beta error. Alpha error or beta error is similar to type 1 or type 2 error. Okay. So we learn about the one tail and two tail. Okay. Cuba kita tanya Yohanis Imani. Yohanis, Yohanis dengar Yohanis? Okay, go for Nur Fadilah.
Yes, sir.
So biasa dengar one tail and two tail. One tail ni maksudnya apa? Fadilah.
Tak tahu dah.
Tail ni maksudnya ekor. Ekor, satu ekor ataupun dua ekor. Fadilah ada berapa ekor?
Ada.
Tak ada ekor. So we learn what the one tail and two tail they call. In Malay they call ekor. In English they call tail. Okay. Then thank you Fadilah. Then we learn about the hypothesis of population mean. Then we learn about the p-value. Okay. We learn the p-value. What is p-value is. And the last one, we conduct the testing about the population proportions. We learn in this topic. Now we go for this one some exercise. So this exercise we skip just now we do. Okay, we go for hypothesis. Kita minta Nur Sufi Najwa.
Yes, sir.
Okay, tolong baca yang atas ni.
Okay. Hypothesis. A statement about the value of a population parameter developed for the purpose of testing. Hypothesis testing. A procedure based on sample evidence and probability theory to determine whether the hypothesis is a reasonable statement.
Okay, thank you. Terima kasih
Uh-huh.
Nur Sufi Najwa. Now, definition of hypothesis. Definition about hypothesis, it means the statement. It's about statement. A statement, the value of population parameter developed for testing. We want to test the statement, whether they support our study or not support our study. This one they call hypothesis. They mean the statement. So how about hypothesis testing? Hypothesis testing, they mean they have the procedure. The procedure based on sample evidence. You hear procedure. Procedure, they mean we must follow A, okay, A, B, and C, and D. So we must have the sequence. That means we follow the procedure A, B, C, and D based on sample evidence. Okay, we take a sample evidence and probability theory to determine whether the hypothesis. Okay, then last one we want to confirm our developed hypothesis is a reasonable statement or not. That means we accept the hypothesis or we reject the hypothesis. So they have two definitions. Okay, number one is hypothesis. That means a statement. We want to test the statement. But hypothesis testing is about the procedure. So what is procedure? That means we must follow step by step. Step number one, kita minta Lian
Ada, sir.
Willy. Okay, what
Ada.
is step number one? Boleh baca?
Ya, boleh. Step number 1, state new and alternate hypothesis. Step
Hypothesis.
2,
Okay, step number two.
Step 2, select a level of significance.
Okay,
Step 3, identify the test statistic. Step 4,
okay,
formulate a decision rule.
okay.
Step 5, take a sample, arrive at decision.
And the last one.
Last one, do not reject hash 0 or reject hash 0 and accept hash 1.
Okay, thank you, Lian. Now we have 5 steps. Step number one. Here's step number one. Okay, first step number one. That means we need to make a statement about the null and alternative hypothesis. Hypothesis only have two. They're called null hypothesis or alternative hypothesis. Okay, this one we must do the statement first. Then number two. Number two is we select the significant level of significance. Okay, just now our friend siapa yang tanya okay, tak ada. We must select level of significance. Usually level of significance is given. Sama ada kita select the value 0.05 or 0.01. This one, the value of label significant. We select whether 0.05 or 0.01. Almost the case kita provided the significant value. Okay. Step number 3. Step number 3 is identify the test of statistic. Okay, that means this stage we need identify whether our test is using the Z or our test using the T value, okay, or using the is symbol. Okay, what is the symbol? Kita cuba tanya. Tadi saya tanya siapa? Tanya Lian, tanya Cheng Mei Ying. Cheng?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, what is symbol? Ini simbol apa? Bisa
Sorry,
jumpa
sir.
tak?
Tak
Bisa
pernah.
jumpa tak?
Tak.
Tak pernah, ha?
Oh.
Dekat sekolah menengah dulu belajar tak? Ada tak dalam matematik? Siapa tahu di simbol? Muhammad Noor Ikram? Muhammad Noor Ikram ada? Okay. Hui Ziming?
Ya.
Biasa tengok di simbol?
Adalah tengok.
Jumpa dekat mana ni? Bus station ke mana?
Kualitatif ke? Tak tahu lah.
Ataupun jumpa dekat market mana-mana? Ada tak?
Tak tahu. Dalam matematik kot.
Matematik ini dipanggil chi-square. Chi-square. So kita akan guna all method dalam step number 3. Okay. Because we identified the testing procedure. Okay, thank you. Okay. Then step number 4. Okay, step number 4. Step number 4 is formulate the decision rule. So we want to formulate our decision. Then whether decision, that means we see the critical value. So they have the step here. We see the critical value. So we see the CR, critical value, CV, and the calculation value. That means calculation value, whether is it test or t-test or chi-square or ANOVA and so on. Then the last one, step number 5, we take the decision. Okay. So our decision, whether we do not reject S0 or we reject S0. Okay. Or we accept H1. This one, the 5 step. Step number 1, step number 2, 3, 4 and 5. Kalau ada final exam, selalunya soalan ni keluar. So the request, please define 5 step of hypothesis testing. Tiap semester keluar, cuma this semester tak ada exam. So very lucky lah. Kalau ada exam, soalan ni mesti keluar sebab it's very important topic. Kalau boleh kamu ingat sampai bila-bila. Sebab statistic, so kita develop using the hypothesis. Any research, okay, kalau melibatkan kajian research, kita akan develop the hypothesis. Okay, ada soalan? Any question? Yohanis Imani, boleh dengar suara dah?
Boleh, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yohanis boleh baca step number 1 sampai step number 5?
Boleh.
Okay. Step 1.
Step 1, state null and alternate hypothesis. Step
Okay.
2, select a level of a significance. Step 3, identify the test statistic.
Okay.
Step 4, formulate a decision rule. Step 5, take a sample, arrive a decision.
Okay, thank you. So we had the 5 step. And the last one, Nani?
Do not reject hash or reject hash and accept hash.
Accept apa dia?
H1.
Okay, thank you. H1. Okay, now kita belajar what is hypothesis. So we have 2. One they call null, another one is alternative hypothesis. Okay, kita pergi dekat Nurul Huda Nani.
Ya, saya.
boleh baca null hypothesis S0 sahaja.
Boleh. Null hypothesis H0, a statement about the value of a population parameter developed for the purpose of testing numerical evidence.
Okay. This one they call null hypothesis. That means about the statement, the value of population parameters developed for purpose of testing numerical evidence. Okay. Thank you, Nurul. So kita minta Muhammad Aiman. Muhammad Aiman ada? Kita minta Candy Bong Wan Sing.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, tolong baca yang ni. Alternative hypothesis.
Okay. Alternate hypothesis H1, a statement that is accepted if the sample data provides sufficient evidence that the null hypothesis is false.
Okay, thank you, Candy. So they have alternative hypothesis. That means we accept if the data, that means the data they give to sufficient evidence that null hypothesis is false. The mean hypothesis is not accepted, we accept the H1. So in future, kita akan communicate guna H0, okay, H0 or H1. Nanti kalau kita communicate H0 dengan H1, you akan understand H0 that mean null hypothesis, H1 they mean alternative hypothesis. So we call H1 or H0. Okay. Thank you, Candy. Then we go for the next. Okay. This one we request John Chia Yong Ki.
Yes, sir.
Boleh baca semua?
Okay. Important things to remember about hash 0 and hash 1. Hash 0, null hypothesis, and hash 1, alternate hypothesis. Hash 0 and hash 1 are mutually exclusive and collective exhaustive. Hash 0 is always presumed to be true. Hash 1 has the burden of proof. A random sample n is used to reject hash 0. If we conclude do not reject hash 0, this does not necessarily mean that the null hypothesis is true. It only suggests that there is not sufficient evidence to reject hash 0. Rejecting the null hypothesis then suggests that the alternative hypothesis may be true. Equality is always part of hash 0. Example, equal, more than, and or equal, smaller than, and equal. Not equal, smaller, and bigger always part of hash 1.
Okay, thank you. This one, rule of thumb about the research. So we say H0 null hypothesis, H1 alternate hypothesis. That means we can say H0 and H1. Okay? Instead of we say the full definition of null hypothesis or alternative hypothesis. H0 in H1 is mutually exclusive. Ini you kena tengok dekat buku statistik, buku probability, what is mutually exclusive. H0 always be true, H1 to be proof random and used to reject S0. Then we say about the do not reject S0 is about statistic. That means we don't get the sufficient evidence. So that's why we say we reject S0. That means not kita kata kita tak boleh accept totally kata reject 100%. No. This one is based on statistic, based on probability. That means we don't have found sufficient evidence. That's why we reject the S0. Okay. Then the last one is a mathematical symbol. That means equal, more or lower than during we develop the hypothesis. Okay. Number 2, we learn about the hypothesis error. Okay. We learn about hypothesis error. Hypothesis, they have two error. They have type 1 error or type 2 error. So what condition type 1 error? So condition is, in our study, we found HO is true. Dalam kita punya study, kita dapati HO is true. Tetapi kita reject. Kita reject as 0. So this condition, type 1 error is happen. Okay. Type 1 error is happen bila kita buat kajian, kita dapati S0 is true. Okay, S0 is true, but we reject it. Kita reject dia. So this condition, this phenomena, we call type 1 error. Okay. And how about the type 2 error? Type 2 error happen when S0 is false, but we accept it. We do not reject the S0. Okay. We do not reject S0. Usually S0 is false. So this one they call type 2 error. So we have type 1 error and type 2 error. Okay. In the hypothesis, kalau boleh-bolehnya kita akan minimize the error. So kalau boleh kita kurangkan error. Sebab bila kita buat decision yang error, mungkin kita punya result not support our research question. Boleh saya ulang, bermaksudnya type 1 error happen when S0 is true but we reject it. So they call type 1 error. That means after we get the result, we found out S0 is false but we do not reject. So they call type 2 error. Boleh Any question? Okay, saya rasa kita stop dekat sini dulu. Sebab this topik ni kalau ni mungkin boring sangat so kita stop dulu. Saya nak share QR code. Those siapa yang belum scan boleh scan. Okay, so Hari ni kita get full attendance. Thank you very much to all our students. Okay, kita akan jumpa lagi next week. Boleh kita stop dekat sini? Ada siapa yang tak setuju untuk sambung lagi?
Boleh Ustaz.
Semua dah scan Okay, kalau you kata boleh, so that's all. Kita jumpa lagi. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Doctor. Assalamualaikum.